Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we are unpacking a really wild, incredibly vivid story straight from the epic Mahabharata. We're talking unchecked ambition, the raw, terrifying power of nature, and exactly what happens when we let our own drive just completely blind us to our surroundings. It's an ancient narrative, for sure, but man, the themes of environmental destruction and arrogance, they are incredibly relevant right now. Okay, let's dive into this. Have you ever wondered what actually happens when an unstoppable force meets a truly immovable object? Because that is the central thematic conflict of our story today. It starts off, honestly, as this simple, almost romantic quest of love, but it rapidly escalates into a violent collision course between mortal arrogance and ancient grounded wisdom. So, to really understand how this conflict begins, we've got to transport ourselves directly to the mystical Gandhamadana mountain. And according to the source text, this isn't just some regular mountain. It is an absolute paradise. Picture beautiful black rocky bases filled with vibrant minerals. The air is filled with the trickling sounds of waterfalls, making the mountain look like it's literally wearing a pearl necklace. You've got romantic, echoing caves and beautiful peacocks dancing to the unseen jingling of apsara bangles. It's his perfect sanctuary of peace and natural harmony. But as we all know, peace is pretty fragile. The inciting incident of our whole narrative happens on a breeze. All of a sudden, this celestial thousand-petaled lotus, radiant as the sun and carrying this totally unearthly fragrance, just blows into camp on a northeast wind. Panchali, or Draupadi, is totally enchanted by it. She turns to her incredibly powerful husband and says, "Behold, O Bhima, this most beautiful unearthly flower having within it the very source of fragrance." She wants more of them to take back to their hermitage. And just like that, the quest is on. Before we follow his footsteps, we really need to understand who is going on this errand. We're talking about our protagonist, Bhimasena, or Bhima. He's the mighty son of Pandu and the wind god Vayu. The text paints this picture of a guy with a golden hue, coppery eyes like a mad elephant, and a body as strong as a lion. He is an undaunted warrior with immense, almost godlike physical strength, just an absolute powerhouse of a man. And right now, his singular goal is to please the woman he loves, and he's completely fearless of whatever lies ahead. Let's look at how this builds into an aggressive, violent escalation. Bhima starts heading up the mountain. But he doesn't just hike, right? He rampages. First, he powers up the rocky base, pushing away intertwisted creepers with massive force. Then, as he picks up momentum, he literally starts terrifying and actively slaying the beasts that cross his path. He tears down an entire forest of giant plantain trees, uprooting massive trunks tall as palm trees and just tossing them aside like twigs. Finally, he descends into a vast lake, splashing around like a maddened elephant, and sounds his thunderous conch shell. He's slapping his arms so hard it echoes through the caves at crashing thunder. He's moving like a runaway freight train, completely oblivious to his environment. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the incredibly specific, almost darkly humorous detail the text provides regarding the wildlife's reaction to this invader. The birds flee their trees in total confusion, the majestic lions howl in fright and abandon their dens, the mighty elephants bolt for more extensive forests, and the text specifically notes that the terrified beasts were so utterly panicked by Bhima's roaring and violence that they literally discharged urine and dung as they set up loud yells. I mean, it's a vivid, chaotic picture of absolute terror. He has completely shattered the harmony we were just marveling at. And the violence wasn't just noise, it was highly destructive. Bhima didn't even need traditional weapons to fight the wildlife charging at him. He relied purely on the terrifying strength of his own arms. He literally slew elephants by picking up other elephants and using them as clubs. He slew lions using other lions. The rest of the predators? He simply dispatched them with mere slaps. He was moving with such relentless force that he made the earth tremble like a hurricane at the equinox. It really highlights just how wildly out of control this hero's journey has become. But then, a sudden, quiet halt. After all that crashing thunder, roaring lions, and trembling earth, Bhima enters a golden plantain wood. And the roaring just stops. The path narrows. Despite his fury and how intoxicated he is with his own strength, something in the atmosphere shifts. He encounters a completely unexpected roadblock right in the middle of this beautiful, tranquil grove. And here is where we meet the immovable object, Hanuman, the legendary Ache chief.
The dramatic irony here is just brilliant, because Hanuman is also a son of the wind god. He's literally Bhima's spiritual brother. Hanuman hears all this thunderous noise echoing across the mountain and realizes the danger Bhima is in. The path ahead is restricted to celestials, and if Bhima keeps going, he's going to face a terrible curse. So Hanuman decides to intervene. But he doesn't gear up for an epic brawl. Instead, he just casually lays across the narrow path, pretending to be a drowsy, sleepy monkey. And this brilliantly illustrates the stark thematic contrast between these two figures. On one side, we have Bhima, golden, roaring, towering, violent, with reddened eyes, entirely drunk on his own power. And facing him is Hanuman, coppery, yawning, lying down, looking sleepy, and completely immovable. It's chaotic physical strength meeting grounded ancient wisdom. Hanuman is described as having a body like a blazing fire, yet he just calmly lashes his tail. And the text notes that just the sound of his tail lashing sounds like thunder and crumbles the mountain summits around him. It effortlessly dwarfs all of Bhima's earlier noise. So Bhima, full of arrogant momentum and super annoyed by the obstacle, strides right up to the monkey. Undaunted, he lets out this massive shout to wake him up and demand passage. And how does the legendary monkey chief respond? He partially opens his eyes, looks at Bhima with total disregard, smiles faintly, and says, "Ill as I am, I was sleeping sweetly. Why hast thou awakened me?" It is calm, deeply unimpressed, and wonderfully sarcastic. The unstoppable force has just crashed headfirst into a wall of absolute indifference. But Hanuman isn't just there to mock him, right? He is there to teach him a vital lesson. He delivers the moral climax of this explainer, saying, "Belonging to the animal species, we are ignorant of virtue, but being endued with reason, men show kindness towards creatures." Hanuman is issuing a devastating critique of Bhima's thoughtless environmental destruction. He's asking a really profound question. Why are you, a being gifted with the capacity for reason, acting completely devoid of humanity and just destroying the natural world around you? Let's break down Hanuman's scolding here. First, he asserts that human reason inherently requires kindness to all creatures. Second, destroying lower animals out of arrogant sport? That isn't heroic, it's childish ignorance. Third, he establishes a hard, unyielding boundary. The path ahead is for celestials, and it is impassable by mortals. He is literally saving Bhima from his own blinding ambition. Finally, he commands him to stop the rampage, rest, and just partake of the sweet fruits and roots the mountain freely offers. He firmly establishes the limits of mortal power and the absolute necessity of restraint. It's such a powerful ancient lesson, and honestly, it still resonates perfectly with us today. When we become hyper-focused on our own quests, our own celestial lotuses, we can so easily become blind to the destruction we're causing in our wake. So I want to conclude this explainer by leaving you with a question to think about. When charging towards your goals, what beautiful things are you trampling along the way? Take a moment to reflect on that. Thank you so much for joining me to explore this incredible text, and I hope this story gives you something profound to chew on. Until next time, stay curious.